Hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about the Free AI Committee report, which recently got released on the RBI website on August 2025. FREE stands for Framework for Responsible and Ethical Enablement of Artificial Intelligence. So this is a AI related report and there is nothing free in this. इसका full form क्या है? Framework for Responsible and Ethical Enablement of the Artificial Intelligence. Now we need to read this report in such a manner that we will be covering all the important things that can come in your examination, and at the same time we'll be covering the entire report. Okay, so the agenda for today is report analysis and discussion. At the same time, while discussing about the report, I'll be telling you the important pointers as well from the report that will be completely exam focused. So video के end तक बने रहिएगा. Let's get the discussion started. The very first thing, executive summary. Whenever RBI is publishing any report, they also give a executive summary. The beautiful part about the executive summary is even if you don't have so much of time to cover the entire report, you can read the report by reading the executive summary, right? So that's the beautiful part of the executive summary. First, we'll be covering the executive summary to have a quick understanding overview of the entire report, and then we'll be covering each and every chapter of this report. Okay, so broadly there are 4 chapters, introduction and 3 more chapters, and this is the executive summary. The first one is AI as a general purpose technology. AI is no longer experimental. Businesses and each and every sector is using it for the betterment, right? So it has become now central to the industries, government and household. It's no longer a experimental thing, which it was 2 years back, right? So it challenges the assumption about the human intelligence, autonomy and creativity. Why? Because by using AI, you can generate better ideas, right? Autonomy and creativity, that's what we have seen recently. AI in finance, a dual nature. What are some of the opportunities of using AI in finance? Customer engagement. You can engage the customer by using multiple bots. Credit scoring. You can give the credit scoring work to AI models. They can do it in a better way. Fraud detection. Even RBI is using for fraud detection in case of mule accounts. We all know that RBI developed a tool of called as mulehunter.ai, right, for detecting the mule accounts. Risk monitoring, compliance efficiencies, all these things can be easily done with the AI in finance. There are some risks as well, like biasness. What kind of biasness we can have in AI models? Now AI models are trained on specific set of data. If the data is biased, the results of that AI model will also be biased, right? So there is a biasness criteria in AI if the input that you have given to the AI model is in itself biased. Explainability gap. Let's suppose you have asked something from ChatGPT. It can explain you the concept, but it cannot explain you the criteria, the reasoning ChatGPT has used to arrive at the conclusion, right? That's why we call it as a black box. It's good for analysis, it's good for explanations. However, there is a explainability gap, right? The AI tools generally cannot explain how they are computing actually for producing the results. So that's a problem which RBI is highlighting from the past 2 years, not just in this report, but from the past 2 years. Cybersecurity, privacy and financial stability concerns are also mentioned in this risk. Then RBI's Free AI Committee. RBI formed a Free AI Committee constituted to balance the responsible innovation with the customer protection. So all we want at RBI is responsible innovation and customer protection. So the aim of creating this particular committee was to create a framework for AI adoption, because in India we still don't have the AI framework, right? That's a must. If a technology is disrupting some sectors, or I can say every sector, why can't we have a global framework, right? Like the developed countries. That's what the aim of Free AI Committee was. Approach, they did a lot of surveys, stakeholder consultations, study of global policy models, right? So that's how they approached developing a framework for AI adoption in India, right? We can see that they have conducted 2 surveys to understand the current AI adoption and the challenges. So Free AI Committee was constituted by Reserve Bank of India. You need to know the full form as well, that I have recently told you few minutes back only, right? So please do remember the full form of Free AI as well. there are 7 guiding principles which we call it as free AI sutras, right? These are the 7 guiding principles that you need to know. This can be important for your examination. I'll be telling you guys what can be important, what cannot be important in your examination. That's why I'm telling you, वीडियो के एंड तक बने रहिएगा, बहुत सारी चीजें शेयर करने वाला हूँ. प्लस डिस्क्रिप्टिव एंगल से क्या क्या चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट है, जैसे इफ आई टॉक अबाउट दीज 7 गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल्स, दे कैन बी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम योर डिस्क्रिप्टिव एंगल, राइट? सो प्लीज do it very well, memorize it very well. You don't have to memorize each and every line of the report or the majority or even the majority of the report. No, even if you read the report well, or you can just download this PPT and read the report. I have given a summarized form of the report in this particular PDF, right? That is downloadable. That's also fine. Plus those things that I'm marking important, you need to do them very well, right? So let's suppose if there is any AI related question, you can mention the 7 guiding principles that Free AI Committee has suggested, right? It will make your answer more and more valuable. The first one, trust is the foundation. So credibility and reliability is very, very important whenever you are using any kind of artificial intelligence model. People first. There should be human centric innovation here, right? Keep the people first. At the end of the day, it's all about people, right? So trust is the foundation, then people first. Innovation over resistant, right? So innovation over restraint is nothing but don't be restrictive in nature, rather than be innovative, because the world is changing fast, right? You should also quickly adopt the changing environment rather than facing any kind of resistance, right? Fairness and equity. No discrimination should be there. There should be fair practices. There should be equity. There should not be any kind of discrimination. Accountability. Institutions must now take the accountability. If I am using an AI tool, why that institution cannot take the accountability, right? They should be able to clearly articulate, explain how that AI tool is using my data and how it is generating the answers. It should not be a black box. Understandable by design. It should be simple enough, transparent enough, so that we can easily understand it by the design itself. And the last one is safety, resilience and sustainability. So these are the 7 guiding principles that is being published in this report, right? So very, very important, guys. Please try to remember the headings of 7 guiding principles at least, which are free AI sutra, right? It can help you in the descriptive examination, plus directly objective के अंदर भी आ सकता है. Then we have 6 strategic pillars in innovation, enablement and risk mitigation. Okay, so these are the broad categories in which we are having 6 pillars, strategic pillars mentioned by the executive summary. So the 6 pillars are infrastructure, policy, capacity, governance, protection and assurance. So governance, protection and assurance are part of risk mitigation. Infrastructure, policy and capacity are nothing but innovation enablement, right? They are the real enablers. Then 26 recommendations are also there related to the AI policies, customer disclosures, cybersecurity protocols and many more are there, which we'll be discussing in this particular report, right? So 6 strategic pillars, 26 recommendations we'll be discussing soon in this particular video. Now to mitigate the AI risk, the board has recommended, this particular committee has recommended a board approved AI policy by the regulated entity. If you are a regulated entity, you should be having a board approved AI policy. That's essential. Okay. सबसे first काम is always to form a policy. जब policy नहीं होगी तो standardization नहीं होगा. Standardization नहीं होगा तो how can we expect people कि वो पॉलिसी को फॉलो भी कर रहे होंगे, वो एक प्रॉपर मैनर में काम कर रहे होंगे, वो नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज देयर इज नो स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर. Product approval process, customer protection framework and audits to include AI related aspects. So you are already having the product approval process, customer protection frameworks and auditing procedure, but you need to think from the AI perspective as well and include the AI related stuff in these policies. Cyber security practices should be augmented here. Robust governance frameworks and customer awareness, consumer awareness should also be promoted here. Okay. So that's the recommendation of this free AI committee to mitigate the AI related risk, right? So these are the 7 sutras and they have beautifully mentioned and depicted in this particular chart. So I will also advise you to read from this chart only. Okay, these 7 sutras you need to read from the chart only, so that will definitely give you a pictorial memory. That's the strongest memory, right? If I see something in pictures, I'm able to remember it. That's a long lasting memory rather than just reading text and multiple pages of the reports. That's not the actual crux. We need to always read from the charts wherever possible, right? So 7 sutras. Trust is the foundation, people first, innovation over restraint, fairness and equity, accountability understandable by design, and safety, resilience and sustainability. These are my 7 sutras, right? So they have talked about the infrastructure, why it is important, policy, capacity, risk mitigation and protection, and the assurance. So these are the 26 things that they have discussed, and we will also be discussing one by one in this particular report. Let's start with chapter number 1, introduction and background. Won't be taking too much time in the introduction and background because I have already given a brief introduction about this report. Let's start with a very positive quote. How beautifully they have framed this report. Have a look. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, but the most adaptable to the change. So if you have the capability to change your mindset, then you can survive. In the worst case scenario, you are the most strongest species, right? The survival is definitely not a big deal for you if you are adaptable to change, right? So your power, your strength comes from how quickly you can change. Okay, that's a very famous quote. So they have started this particular report on a very positive note, and that's what I like about these reports. They just don't give you a brief understanding, a detailed understanding of the technology or the economy, but they shape your perception as well as a strong person, right? Introduction and background, they have mentioned about the evolution of the AI and ML, foundations, symbolic AI, okay, expert system, machine learning, like how AI went from zero to hero, right? So that's a roadmap of the AI. You don't have to read it, you don't have to memorize it. It will be even fine if you can download this PDF and have a quick reading of this if you are interested only. Otherwise, history of AI is not a big deal for you guys in RBI Grade B examination, right? Don't go into too much detail of the AI related history for this examination. They have also mentioned the AI related investment in 2024, and we can see that India has only $1.25 billion investment as compared to China, Saudi Arabia, Canada and France, right? They are almost, I can say, 50 times, 100 times ahead of India as of now in the AI race. AI in financial services expanded the basic automation. Earlier in the financial services, we are having just the basic automation. However, we have expanded our reach from basic automation to the high stakes application. Now, these applications are not just automating the repetitive tasks, they are also giving you suggestions. They are also using the artificial brains, right, of what things can be done in a better way. Use cases, fraud and anomaly detection. Fraud can easily be detected nowadays from AI application, just like we are having RBI ka mulehunter.ai. It can detect mule accounts, right, that were used for the purpose of money laundering. So these kind of applications are now gaining traction. Real-time KYC, market forecasting, NLP powered chatbots like Bank of America's Erica is one of the example of such a chatbot, an intelligent chatbot. Report generation, compliance automation, all are the use cases of AI in financial services, right? What is the estimated impact? The report has stated that $200 to $340 billion annually in the banking sector productivity will increase because of these kind of AI automations. If we talk about the Indian context, then huge potential for the financial inclusion. We know that financial inclusion is on the hit list number 1 of RBI to penetrate the financial inclusion. It will help us penetrating the financial inclusion more and more, right? Why? Because language is a barrier in India. हर गली में लैंग्वेज चेंज हो जाती है, हर थोड़ा सा आगे जाओ 100 किलोमीटर आगे जाओ लैंग्वेज चेंज हो जाती है, तो मल्टीलिंगुअल एआई यहाँ पे हेल्प कर सकता है. नॉन ट्रेडिशनल डेटा फॉर क्रेडिट वर्दिनेस. द रिस्क इज अगेन बायसनेस दैट वी डिस्कस्ड, ethics and black box decisions that can erode the trust. If the AI model is not capable enough to explain me how it derived the output from using the input, that's a black box, right? It's not capable of explaining me the details. So that's a problem, obviously, that's a risk. Consultation of the committee. So Free AI Committee was formed in December 2024. Chairperson Mr. Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, he was from IIT Bombay earlier, and there were some members from the prominent agencies like RBI, a lot of banks, Microsoft, and we can see Niti Aayog legal experts were also part of this committee, right? What methodology they adopted? So the committee adopted a four-pronged approach, right? Stakeholders engagement, like RBI departments, consultants, banks, fintech companies. Surveys, they conducted 2 key surveys. Global study, they also studied in the global context, like what things are happening in big organizations globally and other countries. Regulation analysis. So these are the 4-step approach that this particular committee has adopted as a methodology. Okay, so you need to remember these 4 steps as well. Okay, 4 approach as well. Next one is survey and interaction. So they targeted 2 surveys. They carried out 2 targeted surveys covering all the scheduled commercial banks, NBFCs, AIFIs, and fintech companies. They also did a review of global development in literature. So we know that a lot of things is being published regularly, right? Even if you are reading a good financial newspaper, you can know that you already know that a lot of AI related articles, full page articles are being published nowadays. Just like that, global institutions who are working actually on AI are also producing these articles, literature work, and the global development. So this committee was continuously tracking these developments in literature and the developments in the global institutions, right? So structure of this chapter 1 was all about introduction and basics. Chapter 2 is about opportunities and challenges. Chapter 3 is global and Indian policy landscape, and chapter 4 is free AI framework related to principles and some of the recommendations given by this committee, right? So let's start with chapter 2, AI in finance. What are some of the opportunities? What are the challenges that we are facing because of AI in finance? Let's talk about opportunities, because we always try to see the positive impact, right? Challenges will always be there. Whatever you do in life, challenges will come. It's all about capitalizing the opportunities. That's how we can best overcome the challenges. Let's start with opportunities, guys. Global investment forecast, AI in finance to reach 8 lakh crore by 2027. So AI in finance will be expected. That's a global investment forecast. The investments are expected to reach 8 lakh crore by 2027. If I talk about generative AI market, that is generating something by using AI, like image generations, right? Video generation, market to cross 1.0 lakh crore by 2033. So that's a CAGR of 28.34%, and that's crazy. That's how AI industry is growing, right? What are the key drivers? Efficiency. If 10 people are able to do a particular task, and now only one AI bot is required with one person, then definitely it's creating a efficiency here, right? Revenue growth. Revenues are growing because lesser number of people are required to do the same amount of task. Consumer personalization, customer personalization. Now AI models can give a kind of personalization which was earlier not possible. Fraud prevention and compliance automation are also some of the key drivers, right? Again, it was projected by World Economic Forum, WEF 2025, that the investment is expected to be over 8 lakh crore rupees. So that's $97 billion by 2027. So you can incorporate these figures in your answer if you want to. You can incorporate these figures, these sentences in your descriptive answer. That will definitely enhance the value of your answer. पर अगर आपको याद नहीं रहते, कोई बात नहीं है, जो याद रख सकता है वो इनकॉर्पोरेट कर लो, जो नहीं याद रख सकता है कोई बात नहीं, आप सिर्फ बेसिक चीज़ें भी लिख सकते हो जो मैंने दूसरी लाइन अंडरलाइन कर रखी है, हाईलाइट कर रखी है, या फिर मैंने जो यहाँ पे मेंशन कर रखा है इन द समराइज्ड वे, राइट. यू कैन जस्ट राइट दीज लाइन्स एज वेल, even if you don't want to remember the number, that's also fine, right? Financial inclusion in India, we all know that language barrier is a problem in India, right? It's a great problem, it's a big problem in India. So multilingual voice enabled AI for illiterate population can also be there. Let's suppose I went to some other town where I don't know the local language, I can use that AI model to translate the things, right? So that AI model can easily communicate on my behalf. Now that's a great thing. It will increase the financial inclusion. Now let's suppose I went to a village. I want to take a financial literacy session for increasing the financial inclusion, right? But I cannot do so because they don't understand Hindi or English. And I know only 2 languages. I don't know their local languages. Still, that AI model, by using that AI model, I can easily do so, right? That's the capability. Context aware chatbots for rural banking. So for the rural banking, chatbots are already aware to make it more personalized in their local language, in their local behavior. AI based microfinance predictions can also be made. So I can say that financial inclusion will definitely be impacted in a better way by using the AI. Next is the AI in DPI, digital public infrastructure, right? So Aadhaar UPIs. Aadhaar plus UPI plus AI, how powerful that combination is, right? Aadhaar plus UPI plus AI leads to smart KYC, personalized service, and AI enabled grievance redressal. Then account aggregator framework can also be linked with artificial intelligence bots. Customer level real-time decision making can be fulfilled by linking the account aggregator with the AI, right? So you can use these 2 things in your descriptive answer writing. So that's again a important thing. So G20 task force on DPI highlighted the need to integrate AI responsibly with the DPI as well, right? So that's why I have highlighted these 2 requirements here, these 2 statements here. You can use these lines in your descriptive answer writing directly. Indigenous AI model, need for India specific foundational model. Again, it's a great idea. What if we are having a Trinity model? What do you mean by Trinity model? Language plus a task plus the domain. Let's suppose the language here is Hindi, task is the microcredit, and domain is the regulatory summaries of it. How powerful that combination can be, right? There can be small language models as well, which can be narrow, which can be cheap and faster and efficient, right? So do remember this particular point as well. And Trinity model, okay, do remember this, the concept of Trinity model, which can be a big hit in India, in a country like India, right? Autonomous AI agents, so again SME borrowers, AI agent negotiating loans directly with the AI enabled banks, so they can directly negotiate loans directly with the AI enabled bank here. So that's autonomous AI agent. A particular agent is talking to another agent. Both the agents are AI bots. AI plus emerging technology like quantum computing plus AI, that will give a faster model training, right? If quantum computing can be combined with AI, it can train the AI models quite fast. Then the risk and challenges that we have already discussed. Still, I would like to reiterate here. Model risk, black box problem, lack of explainability of the model, right? That's why we call it as a black box. That model is not able to explain it, how they arrived at the results. Biased approach, because we have inserted the data which was biased, so that model was trained on the biased data. So obviously the results will also be biased only, right? Sometimes AI hallucinates as well. What do you mean by hallucinations in AI? Keep on giving prompt again and again. Sometimes the AI or chat GPT, maybe if you have used it, hallucinates. It's not giving proper results, right? The results are quite deviated as compared to the prompt that you have given. So that's called as hallucination, right? That's again a big problem as of now. Best AI models still hallucinates. Operational risk, incorrect fraud alerts blocking the genuine payments. Again, they can give incorrect fraud alerts as well. That's an operational risk that can lead to blocking of the genuine payments, genuine customer payments. Data corruption in the real time, and systemic risk amplification if the error scale across millions of transactions. So let's suppose if one transaction AI has if one transaction AI is not correctly processing, then 1 million transaction also it won't be able to process, right? So that can lead to a systemic risk. If the error amplifies, it can create a big problem. Third party risk, again, you are dependent on vendors in cloud. As of now, we don't have a strong player of artificial intelligence in the India, right? We don't have that. We still need to depend on the OpenAI or Google platforms. Liability and legal risk, again, who is liable if there is any kind of biasness or there is error in the final outcome? So that's still not clear. Why? Because we don't have the enough rules and regulations for the AI. Collusion risk, again, AI driven pricing algorithm, tactic collusions in the market. AI can make collusion risk as well. Now AI can process the data in its own way that leads to ultimately that may lead to a tacit collusion in the market, right? It can lead to wrong decision making. Now AI toolkits operationalizing the responsible AI. So Infosys responsible AI toolkit की बात करें तो वहाँ integrates fairness, privacy and explainability. The AI model should have a explainability. So वहाँ अलग अलग companies के यहाँ पे example दे रखे हैं आपको. Basically the toolkits are the bridge for policy and practice, right? Whatever policies you are making and whatever practice they are already implementing in the real industry practice. So it's acting as a bridge here by providing the risk evaluation, biasness detection and the monitoring. तो यहाँ पे इतने लेवल का regulatory perspective होना चाहिए. AI audits, again, what do you mean by AI audit? Let's suppose a AI model is processing millions of data. So if it is processing one data correctly, it will process 1 million data as well correctly because it's a system. So that's why we need audits. कि क्या देखो कि ये properly transactions को process कर पा रहा है कि नहीं कर पा रहा है. So there should be a third party auditor who can vet for the same, who can check for the same whether this AI model is able to process transactions properly or not, right? So increasing use of automated audit platform is what suggested in this particular report here, right? कैसे systems use करो जो automatedly audit कर पाए. हमारे इंडिया के अंदर भी सिस्टम ऑडिटर्स होते हैं, उनको सीसा बोलते हैं, राइट? सर्टिफाइड इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम ऑडिटर्स. सैंडबॉक्स एंड इनोवेशन लैब्स, अगेन वी नीड टू हैव मोर एंड मोर इनोवेशन लैब्स. सैंडबॉक्स टेक्निक आपको पता ही है, जैसे आरबीआई का भी सैंडबॉक्स है, सेबी का भी सैंडबॉक्स है, वैसी जनरेटिव एआई सैंडबॉक्स एक ऐसा मॉडल होता है जहां पे आप अलग अलग एआई कंपनीज को यू इनवाइट देम सो दैट दे कैन टेस्ट देयर प्रोडक्ट्स, राइट? Bank pilot models with supervisory support. You need to give them supervisory support. You need to give them some relaxations as well from the laws and regulations so that they can easily test their product before fully going in, right? Fully going all in. वहाँ पे पैसा लगाने से पहले प्रोडक्ट पे वो क्या कर सके, अपने प्रोडक्ट को टेस्ट कर सकें, राइट? सो थीमेटिक सैंडबॉक्सेस भी होती हैं काफ़ी सारी फॉरेन कंट्रीज में, तो उसका रेफरेंस भी यहाँ पे दिया है. हम लोगों को भी यहाँ पे करवाने चाहिए, जैसे आरबीआई रेगुलेटरी सैंडबॉक्स फ्रेमवर्क के अंदर अपने फिनटेक कंपनीज को अलाउ करते हैं, राइट? सो यहाँ पे जनरेटिव एआई सैंडबॉक्स का एक चार्ट भी गिवन है आपको. जीपीयू, क्लाउड सर्विस, सिक्योर डेटा, ये इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर लेयर्स के अंदर आते हैं. अब आपको इतना डिटेल में आई डोंट थिंक आपको जाने की नीड है, राइट? फॉर योर एग्जामिनेशन पर्सपेक्टिव, फॉर नॉलेज लेवल इट इज गुड, बट आई डोंट प्रेफर कि मैं आपको बहुत ही डिटेल्ड में हर रिपोर्ट का बता के बहुत लंबे लंबे वीडियोस बना दूं और एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वो एग्जामिनेशन में आपके काम ना है, राइट? अल्टीमेटली द एम इज नॉट टू इम्प्रेस बट टू इम्प्रूव अवर परफॉर्मेंस इन द एग्जामिनेशन. हमको ये चार्ट्स याद करके सब करके अगर वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, जैसे आई फील कि ये चार्ट आप लोगों के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होने वाला है, राइट? सो आप क्या कर सकते हो, जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें हैं उनके ऊपर ज़्यादा फोकस कर सकते हो, जो मैं आपको रिपोर्ट के अंदर बता रहा हूँ. India's policy, environment and development, again national strategy initiative. India's policy approach क्या है? प्रो इनोवेशन है बट रिस्क कॉन्शियस है. तो देखो कभी भी कुछ भी नया हो रहा होता है ना, तो वहां पर रिस्क कॉन्शियसनेस को बहुत ज्यादा वेटेज अगर आप दोगे तो डेफिनेटली आपका इनोवेशन रुकेगा, क्योंकि आप रिस्क एवर्स हो, आप रिस्क को प्रोटेक्ट करना चाहते हो हमेशा. ओके, सो इंडिया का भी अप्रोच यही है कि हम रिस्क लेने में थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे स्लो डाउन कर देते हैं, जहाँ पे भी ज़्यादा रिस्क होती है हम लेते नहीं है, पर वेस्टर्न कल्चर बिल्कुल अलग है, वहाँ पर रिस्क लेने को प्रमोट किया जाता है। लीगल बेस अभी वी आर हैविंग ओनली द आईटी एक्ट एज ऑफ नाउ, right, plus some of the RBI guidelines and regulations and SEBI guidelines and regulations that too are specific, industry specific I can say, right. We have Niti Aayog's national strategy on AI, response principles of responsible AI, और India AI mission के अंदर again we are having the goal to democratize the compute infrastructure, boost AI research and promote the inclusion. SEBI का consultation paper भी है, but again I can say that it is more of related to securities market. RBI का है, but it is more of related to banking, right. एक comprehensive policy अभी भी हम lack करते हैं, तो यहाँ पे इस रिपोर्ट के अंदर यही सारी चीज़ें given है. What initiatives and national strategy are there as of now, right, that we already have in place. अच्छा, उसके बाद इन द रिपोर्ट दे हैव गिवन द इनसाइट्स फ्रॉम द सर्वे, तो आपको सर्वे का डेटा याद रखने की यहाँ पे नीड नहीं है, इसको सिर्फ एक प्लेन रीडिंग कर लोगे तो भी दैट इज ऑल्सो फाइन अगेन, राइट, दैट विल ऑल्सो बी फाइन. और रिस्क एंड कंसर्न बार बार घुमा फिरा के आपके वही के वही आने वाले हैं अगेन, राइट. सो डेटा आपको यहाँ पे फॉर द पर्टिकुलर सर्वे यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट, राइट. So I have mentioned the key takeaway as well from the chapter number 3 that you can later on have a quick look and complete this chapter 3 in a summarized manner from this chart as well, right. Again, AI adoption by supervised entities, so we can see that entities that are using AI, scheduled commercial banks, UCBs, NBFCs, we can see that scheduled commercial banks और NBFC काफ़ी अच्छा यूज़ कर रही हैं, right. However, AIFI भी काफ़ी अच्छा यूज़ कर रही है, बट अभी ARCs एंड UCBs का थोड़ा सा लैक चल रहा है, दे आर नॉट यूजिंग AI अप टू दैट एक्सटेंट, राइट. सो ये ट्रेंड अगर आपको पता होगा तो दैट्स फाइन, इवन इफ यू नो द ट्रेंड, राइट. देन AI फॉर फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन एंड डीप डाइव, इसका भी चार्ट दे रखा है कि पोटेंशियल बेनिफिट्स क्या हो सकते हैं. सो डेटा क्रेडिट स्कोरिंग हो गया, मल्टीलिंगुअल हो गया, इनको ज़्यादा स्कोर दिया है, मतलब दे कैन बी इजीली डन विद द हेल्प ऑफ AI, राइट. They can easily penetrate the financial inclusion if you use AI in this. Lower servicing cost हो गया, fraud AML protection हो गया, already RBI is doing that. Personalized financial education हो गया, तो इनको रेटिंग दे रखी है बेसिकली ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पोटेंशियल बेनिफिट इन नंबर्स. सो हम देख सकते हैं डेटा स्कोरिंग, क्रेडिट स्कोरिंग, ऑल्टरनेटिव डेटा क्रेडिट स्कोरिंग और मल्टीलिंगुअल और वॉइस इंटरफेस की यहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा रेटिंग गिवन है, राइट. Then in chapter 4, building a responsible ethical AI framework. So in chapter 4, this report states that how to build a responsible and ethical AI framework. Framework की need तो हमको है ही, but at the end of the day, it should be responsible, it should be ethical, right? Means are as important as the end. It is only with the right means that the end becomes right. It's a very famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi. सो फर्स्ट थिंग, ट्रस्ट एज द कॉर्नरस्टोन, और हमने प्रिंसिपल्स में भी देखा था ट्रस्ट वाज द नंबर 1 प्रिंसिपल. सेंट्रल थीम होनी चाहिए दैट AI adoption in finance will not only succeed but it will also build trust across customers, regulators and institutions. तो सिर्फ एफिशिएंसी बढ़ाने से कुछ नहीं होगा, we need to build that trust factor as well in the customers, regulators and institutions, because without trust nothing happens, right, in any industry. सो ट्रस्ट कैसे आता है? फेयर आउटकम, ट्रांसपेरेंसी, अकाउंटेबिलिटी और रिलायबिलिटी से आता है. पर आरबीआई का कंसर्न यहाँ पे ये इरोजन ऑफ ट्रस्ट कुड डीस्टेबलाइज द फाइनेंशियल मार्केट एंड क्रिएट सिस्टमिक रिस्क. इसलिए इंडिया में कोई भी नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ जाती है, कुछ भी नया आता है तो उसको अडॉप्ट करने में थोड़ा सा टाइम ज्यादा लगाते हैं, बिकॉज सच ए ह्यूज मार्केट वी आर हैविंग, सच ए ह्यूज पॉपुलेशन वी आर हैविंग, एंड इवन अ स्मॉल प्रॉब्लम कैन लीड टू सिस्टमिक रिस्क हियर. अनेबलर्स ऑफ ट्रस्टवर्दी AI, देखो रेगुलेशन बहुत स्ट्रांग हो, बोर्ड गवर्नेंस हो, जो हम इसके अंदर बात कर रहे हैं, हर RE की बोर्ड पॉलिसी हो, कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन के लॉज हो, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग हो, अपस्किलिंग होती रहे वर्कफोर्स की, मैनेजमेंट और रेगुलेटर्स बहुत स्ट्रांग हो, कैपेसिटी बिल्ड करते रहो, और ट्रांसपेरेंसी हो हर चीज़ में, क्लियर डिस्क्लोजर्स हो और इंसिडेंट्स को इमिडिएटली रिपोर्ट किया जाए. तो ये सारे अनेबलर्स गिवन है, राइट. अब ये कोर थ्योरी टॉपिक है. अल्टीमेटली ये वाले जो कुछ थ्योरी टॉपिक्स होते हैं उसमें समझाने का बहुत कुछ नहीं होता है, तो मुझे रीड करना पड़ता है, ठीक है. आप कोई कह सकते हो कि सर आप तो सिर्फ रीड कर रहे हो, तुम लोग क्या करोगे बताओ इसको पढ़ के? अब रेगुलेशन होना चाहिए, इसको कैसे समझाऊं, राइट. यही तो बताना पड़ेगा ना कि आरबीआई के पास अभी रेगुलेशन नहीं है, कंट्री के पास एज अ होल रेगुलेशन नहीं है, और है तो बहुत स्कैटर्ड है. अलग अलग प्रॉब्लम्स में। जैसे फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स के लिए सेबी ने निकाल लिया, सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट के लिए आरबीआई ने कुछ बैंकिंग रिलेटेड निकाल लिए, फिनटेक रिलेटेड निकाल लिए। तो कंसोलिडेटेड रेगुलेशन अभी हमारे पास नहीं है। 7 सूत्रास, अगेन वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड दी 7 सूत्रास जब हम पढ़ रहे थे रिगार्डिंग दी एग्जीक्यूटिव समरी। दैट्स व्हाई आई कॉल इट की एग्जीक्यूटिव समरी अगर आपने एक बार अच्छे से पढ़ ली ना, तो आपका इंटायर रिपोर्ट का आपको ओवरव्यू मिल जाता है। सो दैट्स ऑल्सो ऑलवेज इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट। सो 7 सूत्रास को यहाँ ब्यूटीफुली इन लोगों ने चार्ट में दिया। आई विल एडवाइज यू गाइज कि प्लीज आप चार्ट से ही पढ़ो। सो ये सारे जो हैं वो आपके रिस्क मिटिगेशन वाले हैं और बाकी के सारे जो हैं वो आपके इंफॉर्मेशन इनोवेशन अनेबलमेंट वाले, राइट। सो ब्यूटीफुली दे हैव समराइज्ड ईच एंड एवरीथिंग हियर। सो इससे पिक्टोरियल मेमोरी बनेगी, आप चार्ट से ही पढ़ना है वाली चीज, आई हाईली रिकमेंड। फ्री एआई फ्रेमवर्क के प्रिंसिपल्स प्रैक्टिसेस दे रखे हैं, 6 स्ट्रेटेजिक पिलर्स हैं जो हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं। अगेन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पॉलिसी एंड कैपेसिटी, ये इनोवेशन अनेबलमेंट में आते हैं, और गवर्नेंस, प्रोटेक्शन एंड अश्योरेंस ये रिस्क मिटिगेशन में आते हैं। अगर आप इनके नाम याद कर सकें so that will definitely help you guys. Okay, so please do remember the headings in which each and everything is coming, in which the different pillars are coming, plus the name of the pillars, right? Recommendation of the committee. Now there are some recommendations of this committee. So here we are having 26 recommendations of this particular committee. The first pillar is infrastructure, right? So on every pillar there is some kind of recommendation here we can see, right? So infrastructure के ऊपर shared infrastructure, establish a national AI infrastructure for finance. There should be a shared infrastructure. AI innovation sandbox, again for implementing the AI experimentations we need a particular innovation sandbox in finance. Indigenous AI model, develop a India specific foundation models, not like the other AI models which are of foreign countries like ChatGPT, Gemini and so on, right? Data sharing framework, we should be having a data sharing framework as well, so that we can easily exchange the data from one department, from one place to another. Next is regarding the policy figure. So policy pillar, so again I can say that these are pillar specific, अलग अलग pillars के ऊपर आपको यहाँ पे recommendations दिए इस कमिटी के अंदर, कमिटी ने, तो जो आप बाद में ये चीज पढ़ सकते हो। इट्स कोर थ्योरी, राइट, नथिंग इज इन इट की बहुत डिफिकल्ट है यहाँ पे आप लोगों के लिए। सो दीज आर द recommendations basically that you can study, and I think there are 26 recommendations, right, from basically your infrastructure related to each and everything. They are covering each and everything related to infrastructure, relating to capacity, governance, right, protection pillar. So just give it a quick reading, right, and in case if you are having any query in this report, we can definitely discuss it, right. Even if you are able to cover this much report, that will also be fine. So please download this PDF and have a quick reading. That will definitely help you. This report is more important from the descriptive angle of your examination rather than just the objective angle. For your objective angle, I have already told you कि फ्री AI का फुल फॉर्म पढ़ लो, और जो की थिंग्स है जो मैंने रिपोर्ट में से आपको इंपॉर्टेंट मार्क करके दिए, उतना भी अगर आप पढ़ लेते हो, दैट विल ऑल्सो बी हेल्पफुल फॉर योर ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप ऑफ योर RBI ग्रेड बी एग्जामिनेशन, राइट। और यहाँ पे एक एनेक्स्चर 3 है जो मैं आपको होमवर्क के लिए देना चाहूंगा। दिस इज द AI मिशन, इंडिया AI मिशन स्ट्रैटेजी एंड स्टेटस। यू कैन गेट अ डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन, or you can even use the concept of from this particular para in your descriptive angle, okay? So यहाँ पे एक पेज ही दिख रहा है। इस एनेक्स्चर रिपोर्ट को डाउनलोड करके इस एनेक्स्चर को पढ़ोगे तो आपको काफ़ी सारी की इनसाइट्स मिलेगी जो आपके काम में आ सकती है इन दी AI रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस ऑफ एनी डोमेन ऑफ एनी एग्जामिनेशन, राइट। तो AI रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस के अंदर आप इस एनेक्स्चर को डेफिनेटली प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो। मैं भी जल्दी एक सेशन लेके आऊँगा रिलेटेड टू योर डिस्क्रिप्टिव प्रैक्टिस, उसके अंदर मैं ये वाला क्वेश्चन कराऊंगा रिलेटेड टू AI, India AI mission strategy and status, right? So we'll be having a complete discussion related to this particular question in a coming session. Okay guys, so thank you so much, bye bye, take care.